I know it's a little, yeah, well, everybody's getting on with their day. It's a bit noisy, but that's cool. Yeah, you say goodbye, I say hello. Yes, goodbye 45, hello 46. All right, yeah, it's going to be a big day. Cheers. Thanks for looking after the office. It's not bad, all things considered. Bye. Well, this is indeed a landmark day, and it's a special day for us here at Niagara 411 Live. I'm Lee Sterry. Glad to have you along for the ride today. And this is Season 2, Episode 3 of Niagara 411 Live. We're doing this at a special time on a special day because it is the day that the entire world is watching. It is Inauguration Day 2021 in the United States of America, but also around the world. And we are being fueled by Gales Gas Bars Limited as per usual today, powered by WeStream, and because of their fabulous technology, you'll be able to follow the inauguration events and the entertainment and everything all the way through and still be able to participate in the Niagara perspective. So this is the only local outlet that is covering this for you today, and you can still take part as usual. We're at Fiddler's Poorhouse. Come on in and let's get set up, okay? Yeah, this is, this is a landmark day, I'm telling you. I don't know how many people I have been talking to over the past weeks, months actually, since the election took place in November. And Kevin's going to help me get suited up here so that I can hear you properly. Where do you want me? Sitting down? Okay, bud. And, hey. So this ear is going to be the one that is able to hear what you're hearing, and it will enable me to hear you when you call in. And on this January 20th, 2021, we're going to fill you in on exactly why we're doing what we're doing, because as you know, the mandate, thanks, Kev, as you know, the mandate here on this program is to be in Niagara by Niagarans for Niagarans. And you may be very justified in saying, well, what the heck are you doing covering something that every other news organization on the planet is covering in today, and that be the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as President and Vice President of the United States? Well, it is what we like to call here the elephant in the room. I don't mean the GOP elephant. If we're doing that, it would be the elephant and donkey in the room. It is a donkey, right? That is the, the Republicans might have a different name for that animal, but we won't go there. Anyway, this is a huge day, and what we wanted to do is bring you Niagara's coverage of the events that are happening in D.C. today, started this morning, and we'll run down how the scheme of events went, but also to give you an opportunity to comment on that as time goes by. You can participate in this program as always. We would love to know how you feel about what's been going on over the last few weeks, and of course, what this day means to you, if it means anything at all. And that goes to whether you are a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter or whatever. If you think this is a happy day or a not so happy day, that's okay. We're not in any way, shape, or form partisan here, because we don't have a dog in this fight, or an elephant or a donkey for that matter. But we wanted to be able to bring you a Niagara production that gives you an opportunity from Niagara to comment on what's going on. Now, here's what's been happening over the course of the day, and here's what we're going to be covering over the course of the next hour and a half or so. And we did this special inauguration day broadcast just because of this. Normally we would come to you, and we will normally come to you on Thursdays at noon, but we did this today just because it's probably the biggest story of the week, and we can do live programming whenever we want, so we chose to do this, and we would love you to be a part of it. So you can do that. Just click on the link that's on the post on Niagara 411, and you'll end up in our green room, waiting room. Kevin will get you primed and ready to go, and we'll have a chat. Now, throughout the course of this program, you'll be seeing what you're seeing. You'll be seeing background shots of what's happening live in D.C., and we'll be sort of overlaying what we're doing on top of it. There's former President Bush, and we'll just try to include you in this and your feelings as to what's going on. Now, the actual program gets underway. The actual inauguration ceremony, as they call it, is going to be getting underway at 11:15. The swearing in of the new officers of the United States, meaning the President as well as the Vice President. Kamala Harris will be sworn in at 11:55. Joe Biden sworn in at noon. Donald Trump's tee-off time is 12:10. He left the White House this morning between 8 and 9, and took the chopper to the airfield where he caught Air Force One, still as President of the United States, flew to Shared Andrews Forces Base, which is where he got his 21 gun salute. He wanted a military send-off, so we got one there. Now, we have to be gracious in victory, as we expected Trump to be gracious in defeat. So there's going to be a lot of people slamming him over and over and over again, including the 21 gun salute. Even somebody near and dear to my heart said, what, couldn't they aim better? But 21 people missed him? But anyway, those kinds of things are going to be rampant around social media today. But I believe that we do have to be what he was not in office, and that is gracious. We need to be gracious in victory, because that's the way a lot of people see it today. They see this day as a victorious day, and not just for people of the United States. Now, again, there were 70 million plus people that voted for the Republicans, so you can't lose sight of that. However, here in Canada, we also see this day as a day of relief and moving forward. There's a lot of things on the table, like the XL pipeline and all those other things, that may not exactly bode as well for Canada as we would like economically, but there is a general sigh of social relief across our land as well as their land. So, number 45 is gone, but he is still the President of the United States. That is until noon today. One of the things that I found really interesting, Kevin Jack, by the way, WeStream Niagara is the company that is pivotal behind all of this stuff, and everything that you see today. The technology is theirs. The concept for how we bring this to you is theirs. And Kevin Jack is the leader of this. And Kevin, great job on bringing this to the foreground for us today. Just super work.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. Looking to get a Niagara angle on what's happening down south. I mean, we'd be kidding ourselves to think that what's happening in the United States isn't of keen interest to Canadians and people here in Niagara. So we figured, you know what, let's put a little Niagara spin on it.
Yeah.
We'll kind of carry this coverage through until it reaches its natural conclusion, and throughout, the phone lines are open, so to speak, only it's a video chat line.
Yes, our video chat line.
Yeah, if you want to share your opinion, and of course, we'll stop down for all the important parts when President-elect, Vice President-elect are speaking, for national anthems, for addresses of significance. We'll make sure to air those with you as well, but throughout, we'll have some Niagara-only commentary hosted by yourself, Lee Sterry. So I'm very much looking forward to the show today.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. And thank you for making this possible. The shot's coming to you now. We are covering this, just so you know that we are not ripping off or riding on the coattails of a news agency that's doing the work and not us. This is coming to you directly from an actual group in the government that has set up the Joe Biden inauguration websites and social media sites and all of those things. So this is definitely something that we're working with them in tandem to bring this to you today. It's not like we're going to take a page out of CNN's book or NBC or any of those guys. So we're here on our own for you. And there's a wonderful shot of the Capitol that was under such incredible and horrible siege 2 weeks ago today. We were watching a much different scene on the front steps and the front porticos of the Capitol. So here's how the morning is going to flesh out. At about 11:15 today, about 5 minutes from now, Father Leo J. Donovan is scheduled to appear as the ceremonies begin, and all those people that you see on the Capitol steps are getting ready to attend the beginning of those ceremonies. Father Donovan is going to be delivering the Pledge of Allegiance, which every little kid in the United States grows up saying. Do they still do that? I think they do still do the Pledge of Allegiance in class every morning. I know they always used to in the United States, and salute the flag and do the hand over the heart thing. Like we used to sing "God Save the Queen," they did their Pledge of Allegiance. He's going to be doing that at 11:15. Then Amanda Gorman, a youth who is the very first youth poet laureate of the United States, is going to be on the docket. And then it's going to be entertainment time. Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, Garth Brooks, they're all going to be performing between Amanda Gorman's deliverance and 11:55, when Kamala Harris is going to be sworn in as Vice President of the United States. And she will make huge, huge history, being the first female Vice President of the United States. Also being the first black president of the United States, as well as Asian. So she's got a whole lot of employment equity bases covered on this one. And then, of course, at noon, Joe Biden is going to be sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. And he's setting a bit of history on his own as well. He's one of the very, very, very few people that has been the president of the Senate, a vice president of the United States, as well as soon to be president of the United States. There's Kamala Harris. She is coming out and preparing to take part in the viewing of the ceremony, which begins in a few minutes. First time in 150 years that an outgoing president has not attended the inauguration of the incoming president. Did we expect anything more? I really think not. You have to give President number 45 the kudos for at least staying true to his school. He doesn't change his spots very, very often. He has tried to be. I have to give him credit. He has tried. Well, I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but I do. He tried to be gracious in saying that he thought the Biden administration. He never used the word Biden. He said the new administration would be successful, but it was going to be successful because they had laid the groundwork for it, which is very, very true to form. And there's Vice President Mike Pence. He did not attend the 21-gun salute at Andrews for his former boss this morning. He is actually doing what he is expected to do as Vice President of the United States, and that is attending the ceremonies for the inauguration of number 46. But Trump did say, we love you. We will be back in some form. And of course, he has no idea what form that might be, because one of the very first things that President-elect Joe Biden is going to have to deal with is the impeachment article that has been presented to the Senate. It was passed by the House, and that article, of course, is inciting insurrection, and that trial will begin tomorrow, as far as I know. So we'll have the new Senate in a new trial with a new impeachment process and a new article of impeachment that they will have to consider. And it's going to kind of get in the way of some of the things that Biden wanted to do right off the bat. But he is going to do some presidential proclamations, if you will, that will reverse some of the things that Trump did. And Canada is going to be lobbying very, very hard for him to reverse his position on the XL pipeline that everybody knows that President-elect Biden is against. Okay, so what will happen after noon today? Things go on and on and on. There are things that are traditional as far as history is concerned. There, everybody lining up in their designated places to be escorted to their designated seats on and near the podium where they will be sworn in. You can only imagine. Well, I don't even think you can. I can't imagine the raging emotions that are running through the chests of those two people. Mrs. Biden in green, Joe in formal black, and they're matching masks, etc. So they're just absolutely a riot of nerves right now, I'm sure.
Lee, I'm just going to hop in here. I want to
Please do.
I want to suggest that everybody that's watching right now, please share.
Yeah.
Share today's stream. And here, you know what? I'll throw us both on screen here. Share today's stream. Okay, just go down in the right corner there of the post and just share it to your personal timeline. This is Niagara exclusive coverage, Niagara commentary about what's happening on Inauguration Day. We would love it if everybody in Niagara was collected in one place here to share our thoughts on what's happening south of the border. And it's really not tainted. We're not giving it a political slant. We're not CNN, not Fox News, not ABC, or what have you. It's Niagara 411. It is in Niagara, by Niagara, and for Niagara. So please, let's share it in Niagara. Just go down there, press that share button. That would make a world of difference.
And we'd appreciate that because Kevin's put a lot of work into this. We have a lot of people that support this program. And while we're awaiting the formal part of the inauguration ceremony to get underway, I do want to mention this. From last Thursday at noon, when we aired episode 2 of season 2 of Niagara 411 Live, we have had amazing support and viewership from you in Niagara. And we want to thank you for that because it's been just an absolute outpouring of support just because of the number of people that have viewed what we have done and a couple of the really great people that we had on to interview as well as added to that. So thank you for supporting the program. It's a big deal for us. And to Gales Gas Bars Limited, we thank them for continuing to support us and fuel this show, at least for the next 6 months and hopefully far beyond that. We Stream Niagara, of course. Kevin and Brandon of We Stream do wonderful, wonderful work here in Niagara, just like the kind of work you're seeing on your screen right now. Doesn't look much more professional than that no matter where you go on the planet. And WeStream can help you do what you want to do with your ceremony and or event whenever you want to do that. Also, Nick at Niagara 411, thank you for your partnership and your participation and allowing us to live stream our show on your show every week. And this is Niagara 411 Live. I'm Lee, and we are just absolutely pleased to have you here. All you have to do when you're watching this is go to the link. There is a link included in the post for this show, and you click on that, and it'll bring you right into the Zoom room waiting room. And they're just about getting ready again. They're
snow, not unheard of in Washington in January. But you know what? When they used to have these in March,
ushering people to where they're supposed to be.
Until 1933, inaugurations happened in March, and pretty risky in the era before paved roads.
An inauguration like none other. There are the Obamas and the Bidens. I think they'll end up to be great friends. They probably already are.
President Trump on our last inauguration. Of course, President Obama, I think it was about 25 degrees.
The weather's always an element.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect of the United States, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. and Dr. Jill Biden.
Quite a moment.
This piece by the Marine Band Trio from Hail America. The Marine Band known as the President's Own. They play at the pleasure of the President and the Commandant of the Marine Corps. And they played at every inauguration since Jefferson's.
Women around the world will be looking for that coat come tomorrow. Purchase one just like that.
Biden's approaching
Happens
their seats
every
on the platform here. Greeting former VP Dan Quayle.
What a feeling that must be.
Look at his eyes.
The pride.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
That's a phrase that is well welcomed right now. let's enjoy the ceremony.
Let's.
Please welcome the Honorable Amy Klobuchar.
Vice President Pence, Mr. President-elect, Madam Vice President-elect, members of Congress and the judicial branch, former presidents and first ladies, vice presidents, leaders from abroad, and a whole bunch of Bidens. America, welcome to the 59th presidential inauguration, where in just a few moments, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will take their solemn oaths. This ceremony is the culmination of 244 years of a democracy. It is the moment when leaders brought to this stage by the will of the people promise to be faithful to our Constitution, to cherish it and defend it. It is the moment when they become, as we all should be, guardians of our country. Have we become too jaded, too accustomed to the ritual of the passing of the torch of democracy to truly appreciate what a blessing and a privilege it is to witness this moment? I think not. 2 weeks ago, when an angry, violent mob staged an insurrection and desecrated this temple of our democracy, it awakened us to our responsibilities as Americans. This is the day when our democracy picks itself up, brushes off the dust, and does what America always does: goes forward as a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This conveyance of a sacred trust between our leaders and our people takes place in front of this shining Capitol dome for a reason. When Abraham Lincoln gave his first inaugural address in front of this Capitol, the dome was only partially constructed, braced by ropes of steel. He promised he would finish it. He was criticized for spending funds on it during the Civil War. To those critics, he replied, "If the people see the Capitol going on, it is a sign we intend the Union shall go on." And it did, and it will. Generations of Americans gave their lives to preserve our republic in this place. Great legislation to protect civil rights and economic security and lead the world was debated and crafted under this dome. Now it falls on all of us, not just the two leaders we are inaugurating today, to take up the torch of our democracy, not as a weapon of political arson, but as an instrument for good. We pledge today never to take our democracy for granted as we celebrate its remarkable strength. We celebrate its resilience, its grit. We celebrate the ordinary people doing extraordinary things for our nation, the doctors and nurses on the front line of this pandemic, the officers in the Capitol, a new generation never giving up hope for justice. We celebrate a new president, Joe Biden, who vows to restore the soul of America and cross the river of our divides to a higher plane. And we celebrate our first African American, first Asian American, and first woman vice president, Kamala Harris, who stands on the shoulders of so many on this platform who have forged the way to this day. When she takes the oath of office, little girls and boys across the world will know that anything and everything is possible. And in the end, that is America, our democracy, a country of so much good. And today, on these Capitol steps and before this glorious field of flags, we rededicate ourselves to its cause. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce to you the senator who has worked with me and so many others to make this ceremony possible, my friend and the chair of the inaugural committee, Missouri Senator Roy Blunt.
Very powerful speech, I thought, from her. Good job. Of course, that's what she would be expected to say. Senator Blunt. That's kind of an interesting name for a senator. You don't want to mince words, you want to be blunt.
Well, I should have known when Senator Klobuchar got involved, at least there'd be a touch of snow up here this morning. Of all the things we'd considered, I don't think snow was on my agenda until I walked out the door a moment ago. But thank you, Senator Klobuchar, and thanks to the other members of the Joint Congressional Committee on the inauguration as we officially began the 59th inaugural ceremony. I also want to thank the Joint Committee staff and our partners, particularly our security partners, for the way they've dealt with unprecedented circumstances. When I chaired the inauguration 4 years ago, I shared President Reagan's 1981 description of this event as commonplace and miraculous. Commonplace because we've done it every 4 years since 1789. Miraculous because we've done it every 4 years since 1789. Americans have celebrated this moment during war, during depression, and now during pandemic. Once again, all three branches of our government come together as the Constitution envisions. Once again, we renew our commitment to our determined democracy, forging a more perfect union.
Nancy Pelosi.
That theme for this inauguration, our determined democracy, forging a more perfect union, was announced by the Joint Committee before the election with the belief that the United States can only fulfill its promise and set an example for others if we are always working to be better than we have been. The Constitution established that determined democracy with its first three words, declaring the people as the source of the government. The Articles of Confederation hadn't done that. The Magna Carta hadn't done that. Only the Constitution says the government exists because the people are the source of the reason it exists. They immediately followed those first three words with the words to form a more perfect union. The founders did not say to form a perfect union. They did not claim that in our new country nothing would need to be improved. Fortunately, they understood that always working to be better would be the hallmark of a great democracy. The freedoms we have today, the nation we have today, is not here just because it happened, and they aren't complete. A great democracy working through the successes and failures of our history, striving to be better than it had been. And we are more than we have been, and we are less than we hope to be. The assault on our Capitol at this very place just 2 weeks ago reminds us that a government designed to balance and check itself is both fragile and resilient. During the last year, the pandemic challenged our free and open society and called for extraordinary determination and sacrifice, and still challenges us today. Meeting that challenge head on have been and are healthcare workers, scientists, first responders, essential frontline workers, and so many others we depend on in so many ways. Today we come to this moment. People all over the world, as we're here, are watching and will watch what we do here. Our government comes together. The Congress and the courts join the transition of executive responsibility. One political party more pleased today and on every inaugural day than the other. But this is not a moment of division, it's a moment of unification. A new administration begins and brings with it a new beginning. And with that, our great national debate goes forward, and a determined democracy will continue to be essential in pursuit of a more perfect union and a better future for all Americans. What a privilege for me to join you today. Thank you.
The departure from the chain of events that we had published
I'm pleased to call to the
for
podium
us.
a longtime friend of the President-elect and his family, Father Leo O'Donovan,
This
to lead us in an invocation, Please stand if you are able and remain standing for the national anthem and the pledge to our flag.
Okay, this was supposed to have happened about 15 minutes ago, so we're a little off as far as timing. But here's Father Donovan. Every American school kid is familiar with this. What a different view from 2 weeks ago at the front of the Capitol. Amazing.
Gracious and merciful God, at this sacred time we come before you in need, indeed on our knees. But we come still more with hope and with our eyes raised anew to the vision of a more perfect union in our land, a union of all our citizens to promote the general welfare and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We are a people of many races, creeds, and colors, national backgrounds, cultures, and styles, now far more numerous and on land much vaster than when Archbishop John Carroll wrote his prayer for the inauguration of George Washington 232 years ago. Archbishop Carroll prayed that you, O Creator of all, would assist with your Holy Spirit of counsel and fortitude the President of these United States, that his administration may be conducted in righteousness and be eminently useful to your people. Today we confess our past failures to live according to our vision of equality, inclusion, and freedom for all. Yet we resolutely commit still more now to renewing the vision, to caring for one another in word and deed, especially the least fortunate among us, and so becoming a light for the world. There is a power in each and every one of us that lives by turning to every other one of us, a trust of the Spirit to cherish and care and stand by others, and above all, those most in need. It is called love, and its path is to give ever more of itself. Today, it is called American patriotism, born not of power and privilege, but of care for the common good, with malice toward none and with charity for all. For our new president, we beg of you the wisdom Solomon sought when he knelt before you and prayed for an understanding heart, so that I can govern your people and know the difference between right and wrong. We trust in the counsel of the letter of James. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. Pope Francis has reminded us how important it is to dream together. By ourselves, he wrote, we risk seeing mirages, things that are not there. Dreams, on the other hand, are built together. Be with us, holy mystery of love, as we dream together. Help us under our new president to reconcile the people of our land, restore our dream and invest it with peace and justice and the joy that is the overflow of love. To the glory of your name, forever. Amen.
Okay, well, that was interesting because the chain of events that we had was the fact that he was supposed to lead people on the Pledge of Allegiance. That was not it. Okay. So obviously somebody has changed the game plan. Somebody's moved the goalposts here.
I gotta say, looking at him there, Lee, it's
Ladies and gentlemen,
you got a little Joe
please
Biden
remain
thing going
standing
on.
for the presentation of our national colors by the Armed Forces Color Guard, the singing of our national anthem, and for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. And national anthem, that's Lady Gaga.
Yeah. I'm a Gaga fan. I go Gaga for Gaga. I think she's just terrific. But nobody cares what I think. Gosh, they're giving her quite the presidential introduction. Okay. Obviously, they've thrown their program, like, out the window.
Oh, it is so big.
Which, if you've been in entertainment or news or broadcasting long
Shut
enough,
the fuck up.
you expect.
Whoa, what was that?
I have no idea.
I have no idea what that was either.
Where did that come from?
I apologize for that.
Yeah, who was that?
Must have been, I don't know if it was on their feed or what. We'll read about it
Wasn't
after.
on our feed.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Wow.
here for the singing of our national anthem, accompanied by the President's own United States Marine Band, please welcome Lady Gaga.
Goo goo for Gaga. Oh, here she goes. At least she's not dressed in meat. I mean, she's pretty spectacular. She never fails to impress. She is always a visual spectacle. This will be pretty good, I think.
It is a beautiful outfit.
Oh, isn't it? Look at her. Look at that. Look at the dove.
She's usually over the top.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's walked up to the line here, but she did not cross it.
No, the dove of peace, I believe, is what we're looking at here. Wow. Wow. Okay.
It was well done. Suddenly she
yeah.
stumbled out of the gates a little bit there with the timing. Probably hard to hear the band.
Yeah, no doubt. That's got to be one of the most difficult performances going when you're out there. One thing I did notice, though, Kevin, is she had this really nice set of gold earbuds so she could hear herself.
Okay.
So keep that in mind for some future.
I see where you're going.
Future shows. The really nice heart-shaped gold earbuds.
Hard to keep the talent satisfied around here. Okay, when you do a movie with Bradley Cooper, or win multiple Grammys.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying. It was just something I noticed.
Well, you know what? I'd even go for a meat dress.
Okay. Never mind. Enough said.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're watching a special edition of Niagara 411 Live here, in case you wondered what you stumbled upon. It is our regular Niagara 411 Live program, Season 2, Episode 3, but this is the day that is being covered around the world, and we couldn't let Niagara go.
What you are all about to be
without being a
part
part
of
of it.
America is a historic moment of firsts. To administer the oath to our first African American, our first Asian American, and our first woman vice president, Kamala Harris, it is my great privilege to welcome to the inaugural stage the first Latina to ever serve on the Supreme Court of the United States of America, Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the oath of office, followed by musical honors.
There's one landmark woman being sworn in by another landmark woman. Pretty special moment.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
That is history, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless of your political stripe, that is history. Parents of little girls everywhere, that could be them. Let them know that. And Kevin, you're one of those. I think it's pretty special at some point in time to remind our children that those avenues of dreams are available to our kids.
As we look at Kamala, are we looking at potentially the 50th president of the United States?
We may be.
Which would be really cool. I mean, as much as it's one thing to say, boy, you know, girls, you could be the vice president. Well, throw that out the window. Girls, you could be the president. I mean, it's ridiculous to even say girls. Anybody could be the president.
Lopez,
or prime minister.
This land is your land, and America the Beautiful, accompanied by members
there are a lot of
United States
subtle messages and nuances involved with this. Jennifer Lopez is making her way down the what is now a blue carpet. I suppose that is appropriate, considering it's a Democratic inauguration. The blue carpet, red carpet underneath, but we got both party colors covered. So they are going a little bit out of order here as far as the entertainment is concerned, but they all have specific songs to sing, and it's another patriotic American-style song. Jennifer Lopez.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking down that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. Oh, this land, oh, this land. This land was made for you and me. Oh, this land, oh, this land. This land was made for you and me. You and me. America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood. From sea to
Una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos.
Let's get lost. This land was made for you and me.
Okay. Nice little medley of tunes there. Folk song from way back in the 60s, along with America. Pretty slickly arranged there. Jennifer Lopez. Now, as far as...
Great. The sun is shining.
I know
and
Garth
Mr.
Brooks is supposed to be on the
President-elect,
program
this is
somewhere.
the first inauguration in the history of America where J-Lo was the warm-up act for Chief Justice Roberts. With that, it is now my distinct honor to introduce the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, John Roberts, to administer the presidential oath
Here
to
is the
the
moment.
next President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the oath of office, followed by musical honors.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr., do solemnly swear
I, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr., do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve,
protect, and defend
the
Constitution of the United States.
Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
There it is. "45 out, 46 in." And it's official. There were a lot of people over the last number of weeks, a couple of months, that were a little bit skeptical that this moment would take place. But there you go. One of the interesting things that was part of this coverage was there's this thing called the nuclear football, and it follows the president wherever he goes. Whether he's on Air Force One, there's a place for it to be stored on the plane or wherever. It travels with him. That is the one with the codes that could start a nuclear holocaust, or at least respond to one. And but they had to have, because of the Trump leaving early, he has one and Biden has one. But as of 12 noon, or as at least of this moment, Trump's codes don't work. They were automatically disengaged. So that football that he has might as well be used in the playoffs this weekend. All right, so there you go. Interesting, just a little interesting side note of extra security required for the official transfer of power between one president and another. So immediately the nuclear football, as they refer to it, is in the control of Joe Biden Jr., the 46th president of the United States. Now, I assume somebody is going to go get Mr. Trump's football and bring it back or destroy it or whatever. But just an interesting little nuance that is part of this whole thing. I was thinking while watching what you've been watching here is how wonderful the Americans do pomp and circumstance. I mean, they do nationalism and pomp and circumstance and ceremony better than anybody. Maybe the Russians, on there with their like May Day things and whatnot. But boy, the United States does a great job at this.
Americans, a moment we have all been waiting for. It is now my great privilege and high honor to be the first person to officially introduce the 46th President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden Jr.
Well, this is going to set the stage for the next 100 days. They talk about the first 100 days of the presidency. This speech will set the stage for that. You can bet he's going to talk about unity and healing and those kinds of things, but this will pretty much engage where he's headed.
Roberts, Vice President Harris, Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, Leader McConnell, Vice President Pence, and my distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. This is America's day. This is democracy's day. A day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge. Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy. The people, the will of the people, has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. So now, on this hallowed ground where just a few days ago, violence sought to shake the Capitol's very foundation, we come together as one nation, under God, indivisible, to carry out the peaceful transfer of power as we have for more than 2 centuries. As we look ahead in our uniquely American way, restless, bold, optimistic, and set our sights on the nation we know we can be and we must be. I thank my predecessors of both parties for their presence here today. I thank them from the bottom of my heart. And I know the resilience of our Constitution and the strength of our nation, as does President Carter, who I spoke with last night, who cannot be with us today, but whom we salute for his lifetime in service. I've just taken the sacred oath each of those patriots have taken. The oath first sworn by George Washington. But the American story depends not on any one of us, not on some of us, but on all of us, on we the people who seek a more perfect union. This is a great nation. We are good people. And over the centuries, through storm and strife, in peace and in war, we've come so far. But we still have far to go. We'll press forward with speed and urgency, for we have much to do in this winter of peril and significant possibilities. Much to repair, much to restore, much to heal, much to build, and much to gain. Few people in our nation's history have been more challenged or found a time more challenging or difficult than the time we're in now. Once-in-a-century virus that silently stalks the country. It's taken as many lives in 1 year as America lost in all of World War II. Millions of jobs have been lost. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed. A cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making, moves us. The dream of justice for all will be deferred no longer. A cry for survival comes from the planet itself. A cry that can't be any more desperate or any more clear. And now, a rise of political extremism, white supremacy, domestic terrorism, that we must confront and we will defeat. To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America, requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy: unity. Unity. In another January, on New Year's Day in 1863, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. When he put pen to paper, the president said, and I quote, "If my name ever goes down into history, it'll be for this act, and my whole soul is in it." My whole soul is in it. Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this. Bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause. Uniting to fight the foes we face: anger, resentment and hatred, extremism, lawlessness, violence, disease, joblessness, and hopelessness. With unity, we can do great things, important things. We can right wrongs. We can put people to work in good jobs. We can teach our children in safe schools. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work and rebuild the middle class and make health care secure for all. We can deliver racial justice, and we can make America once again the leading force for good in the world. I know speaking of unity can sound to some like a foolish fantasy these days. I know the forces that divide us are deep and they are real. But I also know they are not new. Our history has been a constant struggle between the American ideal that we're all created equal and the harsh, ugly reality that racism, nativism, fear, demonization have long torn us apart. The battle is perennial, and victory is never assured. Through Civil War, the Great Depression, World War, 9/11, through struggle, sacrifice, and setbacks, our better angels have always prevailed. In each of these moments, enough of us have come together to carry all of us forward. And we can do that now. History, faith, and reason show the way of unity. We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature. For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. No nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge. And unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America. If we do that, I guarantee you we will not fail. We have never, ever, ever, ever failed in America when we've acted together. And so today, at this time, in this place, let's start afresh. All of us. Let's begin to listen to one another again. Hear one another. See one another. Show respect to one another. Politics doesn't have to be a raging fire, destroying everything in its path. Every disagreement doesn't have to be a cause for total war. And we must reject the culture in which facts themselves are manipulated and even manufactured. My fellow Americans, we have to be different than this. America has to be better than this. And I believe America is so much better than this. Just look around. Here we stand in the shadow of the Capitol Dome, as was mentioned earlier, completed amid the Civil War, when the Union itself was literally hanging in the balance. Yet we endured. We prevailed. Here we stand, looking out on the Great Mall, where Dr. King spoke of his dream. Here we stand, where 108 years ago, at another inaugural, thousands of protesters tried to block brave women marching for the right to vote. And today, we mark the swearing in of the first woman in American history elected to national office, Vice President Kamala Harris. Don't tell me things can't change. Here we stand, across the Potomac from Arlington Cemetery, where heroes who gave the last full measure of devotion rest in eternal peace. And here we stand, just days after a riotous mob thought they could use violence to silence the will of the people, to stop the work of our democracy, to drive us from this sacred ground. It did not happen. It will never happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Not ever. To all those who supported our campaign, I'm humbled by the faith you've placed in us. To all those who did not support us, let me say this. Hear me out as we move forward. Take a measure of me and my heart. And if you still disagree, so be it. That's democracy. That's America. The right to dissent peaceably within the guardrails of our republic is perhaps this nation's greatest strength. Yet hear me clearly. Disagreement must not lead to disunion. And I pledge this to you. I will be a president for all Americans. All Americans. And I promise you, I will fight as hard for those who did not support me as for those who did. Many centuries ago, St. Augustine, a saint of my church, wrote that a people was a multitude defined by the common objects of their love. Defined by the common objects of their love. What are the common objects we as Americans love that define us as Americans? I think we know. Opportunity, security, liberty, dignity, respect, honor, and yes, the truth. Recent weeks and months have taught us a painful lesson. There is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and for profit. And each of us has a duty and a responsibility as citizens, as Americans, and especially as leaders. Leaders who have pledged to honor our Constitution and protect our nation, to defend the truth and defeat the lies. Look, I understand that many of my fellow Americans view the future with fear and trepidation. I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering, can I keep my health care? Can I pay my mortgage? Thinking about their families, about what comes next. I promise you, I get it. But the answer is not to turn inward, to retreat into competing factions, distrusting those who don't look like you, or worship the way you do, or don't get their news from the same sources you do. We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal. We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts, if we show a little tolerance and humility, and if we're willing to stand in the other person's shoes, as my mom would say, just for a moment, stand in their shoes. Because here's the thing about life. There's no accounting for what fate will deal you. Some days, when you need a hand. There are other days when we're called to lend a hand. That's how it has to be. That's what we do for one another. And if we are this way, our country will be stronger, more prosperous, more ready for the future. And we can still disagree. My fellow Americans, in the work ahead of us, we're going to need each other. We need all our strength to persevere through this dark winter. We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus. We must set aside politics and finally face this pandemic as one nation. One nation. And I promise you this, as the Bible says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. We will get through this together. Together. Look, folks, all my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here, we all understand the world is watching all of us today. So here's my message to those beyond our borders. America has been tested, and we've come out stronger for it. We will repair our alliances and engage with the world once again. Not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's challenges. And we'll lead not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. We'll be a strong and trusted partner for peace, progress, and security. Look, you all know we've been through so much in this nation. And my first act as president, I'd like to ask you to join me in a moment of silent prayer. Remember all of those who we lost in this past year to the pandemic. Those 400,000 fellow Americans, moms, dads, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, friends, neighbors, and co-workers. We'll honor them by becoming the people and the nation we know we can and should be. So I ask you, let's say a silent prayer for those who've lost their lives and those left behind, and for our country. Amen. Folks, this is a time of testing. We face an attack on our democracy and on truth, a raging virus growing inequity, the sting of systemic racism, a climate in crisis, America's role in the world. Any one of these would be enough to challenge us in profound ways. But the fact is, we face them all at once, presenting this nation with one of the gravest responsibilities we've had. Now we're going to be tested. Are we going to step up, all of us? It's time for boldness, for there's so much to do. And this is certain. I promise you, we will be judged, you and I, by how we resolve these cascading crises of our era. We will rise to the occasion is the question. Will we master this rare and difficult hour? Will we meet our obligations and pass along a new and better world to our children? I believe we must. I'm sure you do as well. I believe we will. And when we do, we'll write the next great chapter in the history of the United States of America, the American story. A story that might sound something like a song that means a lot to me. It's called American Anthem. There's one verse that stands out, at least for me, and it goes like this. The work and prayers of century have brought us to this day. What shall be our legacy? What will our children say? Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you. Let's us add our own work and prayers to the unfolding story of our great nation. If we do this, then when our days are through, our children and our children's children will say of us, they gave their best, they did their duty, they healed a broken land. My fellow Americans, I close the day where I began, with the sacred oath. Before God and all of you, I give you my word. I will always level with you. I will defend the Constitution. I'll defend our democracy. I'll defend America. And I'll give all of you, keep everything I do in your service, thinking not of power, but of possibilities, not of personal interest, but the public good. And together we shall write an American story of hope, not fear, of unity, not division, of light, not darkness, a story of decency and dignity, love and healing, greatness and goodness. May this be the story that guides us, the story that inspires us, and the story that tells ages yet to come that we answered the call of history. We met the moment. Democracy and hope, truth and justice did not die on our watch but thrived. That America secured liberty at home and stood once again as a beacon to the world. That is what we owe our forebears, one another, and generation to follow. So, with purpose and resolve, we turn to those tasks of our time, sustained by faith, driven by conviction, and devoted to one another and the country we love with all our hearts. May God bless America, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, America.
Well, that is a scene you've never seen at an inauguration before. All of those flags in the mall, where it would have been filled with hundreds of thousands of people in previous days, and there he is, the 46th President of the United States. Love him, hate him, believe him, or don't believe him, this is what you have for the next 4 years. And appreciate you coming along for the ride with us on Niagara 411 Live. And judging by the comments that have been floating in, there are comments of both ilks. And there's going to be another performance, I think, here coming up. And I do believe that the...
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Garth Brooks
to
perform Amazing Grace.
All right. We can't diss Garth. We got to hang around for Garth, because we would never be forgiven by Mr. Brooks, led by his ever-present belt buckle. Garth Brooks.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. If I can ask you to sing this last verse with me, not just the people here, but the people at home, at work, as one, united. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Okay. Pretty powerful moment there. You showed they had a quick shot of Mitch McConnell, who was the Senate Majority House Leader, and a number of others, of course, lined up there. It was from time to time when they put the shot of the Obamas and the Clintons sitting side by side.
To be reminded of
something must have happened.
Senator Blunt somehow got the blunt end of something. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Hard not to be reminded of President Obama's singing that same song at the Mother Emanuel Church. A song that in our culture is as close to both poetry and prayer as you could possibly come. And we're going to finish with those two things. Let me introduce Amanda Gorman, our nation's first ever National Poet Laureate.
I wondered if Amanda would make an appearance because she was supposed to be, as per our rundown earlier in the program when we first started, she was supposed to be around very, very early, the first teen poet laureate, and she is now being called on. And amidst all the formal black, she's certainly colorful today. God bless her. Amanda Gorman.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the wind-swept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
All right. That is the United States of America's first youth poet laureate, Amanda Gorman. And that was a poem, by the way, not just a speech. And
thank you, Amanda Gorman.
That is,
now for our benediction, I'm pleased to introduce Reverend Dr. Sylvester Beeman, the pastor of the Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Wilmington, Delaware.
We don't have to really
President
probably
Biden
go all
for
the way
30
through the rest
years.
of the various ceremonies that are taking place. That is the main crux of everything that's happening. Kevin, quite a wide range of comments and participations on the feed today. We were trying to follow along with regard to how this is being received. We were very pleased about the number of you that joined us today, and we appreciate your comments too, by the way. And you're still free to comment live on the show. We're not going to bring you any further feed from D.C. from the Capitol, because you've pretty much seen everything that is pivotal to this historic day in Washington, D.C., this January 20th, 2021, and the inauguration ceremony for the 46th President of the United States. And I was not looking over the speechwriters' shoulders when they were preparing Biden's speech, nor did anybody give us any prior knowledge of what President Biden was going to say. However, I mentioned the fact that you can bet we're going to hear a lot about unity, and I think we heard the unity word a couple of dozen times at least over the course of that speech, because that is really the biggest challenge that he has as the 46th president, is to try to do something to bridge that massive, massive gulf that exists and that huge division in the United States of America. Very, very pretty words, very, very elegantly and eloquently delivered. However, make no mistake about it, those gaps and those divisions and those emotions are still running high, and they're running in disparate directions in the United States. So he has a huge, huge job ahead of him, and some of those emotions were expressed in the various comments that came out on our stream on Niagara 411 today as we did the live presentation of the inauguration, and that's to be expected. And what we're here to do is to try to bring the Niagara perspective to things, because that is our mandate as we have defined our mandate. And you might say, well, if covering things in Niagara and being Niagara is your mandate, what the heck were you doing down in D.C. today? Well, because that's where everybody's minds, hearts, and interests lie today, is what's happening and what has happened in Washington, D.C. and world politics, and it affects all of us. And of course, we've got the XL pipeline, which big deal in Alberta and Canada here as far as whether it's going to go forward or not in the United States. Biden has said it isn't. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. That is just one of the things. So all of the things that the Democrats are bringing to the table are not necessarily Canada friendly. We get that, but it was one of those things that we needed to bring forward to you today, because everybody is talking about this, and so are we, and we would rather you be able to view this through a Niagara lens as opposed to another lens. And speaking of that, you are still, we'll take this program on as long as we need it to go on, because we have no place else to be except with you. So if you would like to come on and have any perspective on what you witnessed on our program today, or with what you witnessed in D.C. today, please, by all means, do so. Click that Zoom link in the post, and we'll keep on the air here, and we would gladly have you participate regardless of your point of view. The whole fake news thing, that ain't us. We don't hold any sort of obligation to anybody that's paying our bills. We pay our own bills. We have our own obligations to ourselves. We'd like to thank Gales Gas Bars for continuing to fuel our program and cover our costs and those kinds of things. But as far as being a political leaning organization, that ain't us. You are more than welcome to express your views. And we're here for you to do that. Now, one of the people that we had on, Kevin, when did we have Anthony on before? A couple of months ago?
Yeah, it was.
It was after it was just before. It was just before the presidential election. I think it was about a week before November 3rd, because we had Anthony on and another gentleman who was on. He was a Republican supporter at the time. Well, maybe not a Republican supporter, but he was in favor of Trump being reelected in November. So it was about a week, I think, before November the 3rd, somewhere in that.
I should, because we'll get criticized for it, Lee. I did reach out to the Trump guy, and he just couldn't get to it today. He's at work, but if anybody wants to come on the program, as Lee mentioned, just click on that link, and you can come on here and maybe present a different viewpoint. But we tried to balance out the show.
Yeah, by all means, we try to provide balance. I'm going to make no bones about it. I mean, I have my opinions and as well, but it doesn't mean that I won't listen to yours. And I think that's the difference when people are talking about the media, is when you do not have an opportunity to talk back, and you throw popcorn at the TV screen because you can't talk back to whoever it is whose opinion that you're listening to. What we're about is trying to hear from Niagarans, and that's what it is. Now, we do have, I think, Anthony standing by. Do we not, Kevin? There he is, Anthony Fiore. Anthony, welcome back to the program. It was early November or late October when we spoke the last time. And the question that you were there to answer when you first appeared on the program is, do you think that Joe Biden would be elected? And if so, why? And why would you prefer that he got elected? And you spoke very eloquently at that time. And what I would like to do is now just take a really quick jump forward and say, so how you doing today?
Well, thanks for having me back on. Hopefully you can hear me. I hope
I can. You're perfect.
Perfect. I'm doing great. Today's a great day. I love inaugurations. I watched the Trump inauguration. I watched the Obama inauguration. I watched the George W. Bush, etc. We can go back all the way to 1996. Today's a different day. It's a day for change. And it was actually kind of emotional. I don't know how everybody else was feeling, but I was feeling very emotional because it's the question I asked myself today. I'm sure maybe a lot of people who ask themselves this question is, did the last 4 years actually happen? And yes, it did. But very, very proudly, I always say, democracy spoke, the people spoke, and we're going to move forward. And that's all that matters.
Anthony, I think we would be incredibly naive if any of us went forward feeling that, thank God that's over. Well, there are a lot of things that have occurred over the last 4 years that indicated to us that it's not over. There is, if the Trump, in my opinion, you correct me if you think I'm wrong, in my opinion, one of the real positives that came out of the last 4 years is it exposed the naked truth about the massive sociological divides that exist in the United States of America. And do you believe that we're gonna be able to bridge those divides?
With somebody like Joe Biden, I can see that being achievable. I think that that is his political history: is building bridges, not burning them. You don't need extremely partisan people, and Joe Biden has a history of that. I think that you were right. It did expose a lot of the naked truths, but they weren't naked for me because I watch this. This is the secret part of my life. I always tell people is I love watching this stuff. I love politics. I love government. I'm not necessarily pro-party. I've always been pro-government. I always feel that it does exist to do a force of good in people's lives. It did expose that naked truth, but I think what the one takeaway from the 4 years of Trump and I think it's actually kind of a good thing, is that it did expose a lot of the economic anxiety that everyday ordinary people are feeling, regardless of where you're coming from or what city you're from, what you're born into, etc. And that now I think is going to be the forefront of a lot of the future elections, not just in the United States, but in Canada, is we have to start addressing the economic anxieties that families, singles, seniors are feeling. And I think that is been exposed immensely.
Anthony, one last question before we set you free. The Biden administration, positive for Canada or not?
Well, the first announcement I think a lot of us heard was the Keystone XL. I don't think that that's the best news for our country, considering it was a joint capital venture. So I'm waiting to see what our government response is going to be to that. And you feel bad for Alberta, but Biden administration, so far what he's saying feels a lot like protectionism for the United States, but as a joint venture, government's getting along, government's building bridges. I think he's going to be a lot better than the previous president.
Anthony Furey, thank you very much. It's nice to bring this conversation full circle from where we were in late October, early November. And we, again, will probably chat over the course of the next 4 years as this administration unfolds locally, nationally, internationally, and around the world. So, Anthony, have yourself a great weekend, and appreciate you coming on. And I see you're quite the James Bond fan. So
the biggest, the biggest. And thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. Anytime you want, I come on. No problem.
All right, Anthony. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Kevin. An interesting morning, a little bit surreal for us because it's outside our normal purview. And just to give you, those of you who are watching, a bit of a background is Kevin and I were chatting last week at the end of the show as we tear down the set, and well, as he tears down the set and I just watch him work, which is my favorite role. But anyway, when we were doing that, we were talking about this week, and because of our self-imposed mandate of Buy Niagara, in Niagara, for Niagara, there's always this debate as to, okay, well, this is a pretty international event. Every news agency, every network, everything around the planet's going to be focused on this. Why would we want to do this? Because of why would we do what everybody else is doing when we're supposed to be focused on Niagara? Well, the reason is we wanted to bring you a Niagara outlet for what is happening today, because there is nothing singularly more impactful on the planet, politically, economically, socially, than what happened on the steps of the Capitol today in Washington, D.C. And we actually, both of us felt that we'd be derelict in our duty if we didn't do this kind of programming for you today. So that's why we backed it up to Wednesday from Thursday. It's why we backed it up to 11 a.m. from noon, so that we could give you the lead in and provide the program. I hope it was successful from your point of view. I hope it provided some value for you. But that was our reasoning behind this. But keep in mind that we are not going to try to compete with national news agencies or any of those things unless it's something as massive as this topic is and has been for the last number of weeks and months. So that's why we did this program today. But keep in mind that we are always focused on Niagara and you in Niagara, and there are other stories that are happening in and about the area that we will continue to follow for you. This was a real anomaly. This was the elephant and donkey in the room that we were trying to pay homage to. And for me, I was pleased that we did this, because it gave me an opportunity to focus on one of history's most pivotal moments. And I don't think I'm putting too fine a point on it to say that. Kevin, thank you very much for all the work that you have done on this program and the graphics and making sure that the technology worked to bring all of this to Niagara the way you were able to do. And I'm just proud as punch to have been a part of the broadcast.
It was a fun show.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
Lee, as you know, I know you're wrapping up here, but I got to get the camera outside here for our usual extra, and I think it was appropriate. We always play Niagara artists.
Yeah.
So we'll go to Niagara Falls country musician Tim Hicks, and play Stronger Beer, because it plays Canada versus America. But give me a minute. You guys will all see me there, kind of walk out behind Lee in a second.
Yeah, well, that's cool. But and this will give me the chance to once again thank all of the people that we work with. Gales Gas Bars Limited for fueling this program, and we always appreciate their flexibility, because this is a live show, and every now and then we'll wake up in the morning or a couple of days from this show and we'll say, hey, why don't we do this? Because it's our thing. We can do whatever we want to do when we want to do it. And Jessica Friesen and her company, Gales Gas Bars Limited, has been just absolutely wonderful, working with us and being flexible to go along with whatever it is we want to do. And that's great, because some of the things are going to work, some of them aren't going to work. They're always going to be live, and they're always going to be somehow connected to Niagara, and we really appreciate Gail's participation and support. Hey, Kevin. Hey, how you doing, buddy? And also Fiddler's Poorhouse. I didn't have a chance to mention a whole lot about that. We are once again in a shut-down Niagara restaurant for obvious reasons. Dave Mukparian and his staff at Fiddler's Poorhouse give us the keys and let us come in and enjoy their window location here at 149 St. Paul Street in St. Catharines. So to Fiddlers, thank you.
Yeah, second there, Lee. I don't know if you saw that fan over your shoulder.
That fan, yeah. That
fan's got to go out there again.
Yeah.
I'm a little crooked.
Oh, okay. You have to go back. So at least we have one fan, and he's the executive producer of the program. So good. Good for you. So next week, we shall be returning to our regular day and time of Thursday, 12 noon, for Niagara 411 Live. We hope you can join us then. We will once again have some sort of, dare I say, action-packed. That sounds a little bit like a trailer for one of those Bond movies. But I can't guarantee you action-packed, but I can guarantee you a live program coming up next Thursday from Fiddler's Poorhouse, fueled by Gales, powered by WeStream, and hosted by yours truly, Lee Sterry, and it's happy to have you here. Okay, Kevin, are you happy with your camera alignments now? You happy with your shots now?
I think we're good here, Lee. Let's you can take.
See,
a look
this is
for
absolutely
yourself.
proof positive that it's live. There's absolutely no production that's going to have. There you go.
There's St. Paul Street right now, and I'll let you throw, Lee.
Yeah. All right. So. Again, thank you for being here. A pivotal day in history. This will go down in the archives as one of my most interesting days. That is for sure. Kevin Jack, Brandon Schramm of WeStream, always a pleasure working with you. Jessica Friesen, Gales, and Nick at Niagara 411 and all of his contributors. We appreciate your support. We'll see you next week, and we will now play you out for yet another edition of the show. Cheers.